Good day, everybody. This is Yin Yang in California with Morsels of a Thought number 1667. I have come to you with Morsels of a Thought for 1667 consecutive days. And the hope is that we get some morsels of a thought of wisdom. Knowing the right thing to do is wisdom, and actually doing it is called virtue. Excuse me. I always wondered how we could get more virtue into the world. And then I came across the fortune cookie. So somebody who wrote the fortune cookie is to be credited for that. And I want to read from George J. Chanos, Millennial Samurai. Okay, George J. Chanos is the former Nevada Attorney General that has written book one of A Mindset for the 21st Century. So, Millennial Samurai, book one, A Mindset for the 21st Century. Intuition. Psychologists define intuition as immediate understanding, knowledge, or awareness derived neither from perception nor from reasoning. I think that's very interesting because I would have almost guessed that it had both of those things in it, but because we have an entire lifetime of, millions of seconds of a life, I think, we have to process them without getting bogged down in details. So intuition to me is like a photograph of our entire perception and reasoning of our lives. So that's me. But psychologists define intuition as immediate understanding, knowledge, or awareness derived neither from perception nor from reasoning. Now, that means to me, momentary perception, momentary reasoning, I don't know. Anyway. Intuition is essentially the brain processing information without your conscious awareness. It is unconscious thinking. It is indeed unconscious thinking. Brainstorming is a powerful technique to discover solutions. Brainstorming encourages all suggestions, including those based on nothing but intuition, for good reason. Try the brainstorming rules from the www.ideo, Indigo David Edward Oliver.org to achieve maximum results. And I don't know what anyway. Some of what I mean is that I don't know what the acronyms are called, like Apple or Apple. Anyway. IDEO.org. www at the beginning used to make a difference. But anyway, some of the most remarkable discoveries, like penicillin and Teflon, have been based on little more than informed intuition. However, not all intuition is equal. Bruce Kazanoff, co-founder of Park City think tank, says, "You might say that I'm a believer in the power of disciplined intuition. Do your legwork, use your brain, share logical arguments, and I'll trust and respect your intuitive powers. But if you merely sit in your hammock and ask me to trust your intuition, I'll quickly be out the door without saying goodbye." Kazanoff believes that for this two F's at the end, Kasanoff believes that for those who have been rigorous in using their conscious brain, intuition can sometimes provide the highest form of intelligence. He says, sometimes a corporate mandate or groupthink or your desire to produce a certain outcome can cause your rational mind to go in the wrong direction. At times like these, it is intuition that holds the power to save you. Intuition can be cultivated and encouraged by setting aside time to reflect, taking walks, spending time in nature, clearing your head, and practicing mindfulness and meditation. Engaging in creative activities also quiets the cognitive mind and allows your intuition to flourish. Your intuition is a powerful tool, especially when it is informed by due diligence and consistent with your core values. Millennial samurai understand the power of informed intuition. Uh, I want to say that our intuition is spoken of a lot of in um, a book by what's his name? The Gift of Fear, an author named Gavin De Becker. He talks about intuition in the entire book. So if you're interested in looking into that, you can look into that. I don't know whether he talks about the definition of intuition like George J. Chanos does, but George J. Chanos just did. So, okay, attitude. Thomas Jefferson, third president of the United States, said, "Nothing can stop the man with the right mental attitude from achieving his goal. Nothing on earth can help the man with the wrong mental attitude." Hmm. Attitude is one of life's most powerful concepts. How you perceive the world and the way the world perceives you is in large part determined by your attitude. Your attitude will have an immense impact on your life. The good news is you control your attitude. Your actions are influenced by your attitude, which in turn influences the resulting attitude of others toward you. A negative attitude invites failure, and a positive attitude invites success. Enthusiasm is one of the most empowering and attractive qualities you can have. Successful people use affirmations repeated several times each day to reprogram their subconscious with positive thinking. I am an amazing woman, and anybody would be lucky to know me. That is from a woman in Seattle whose name was Mary. Okay, successful people. Successful people choose to think positive thoughts. They visualize positive results. They create their own positive reality by thinking positively and visualizing their success. Studies have shown that these practices you actually rewire our unconscious brains and increase our opportunities for success. Nelson Mandela used visualization to maintain a positive attitude while being imprisoned for 27 years. Quote, "I thought continually of the day when I would walk free. I fantasized about what I would like to do," he wrote. End quote. Oprah Winfrey, American media owner, talk show host, actress, and producer, tells us the greatest discovery of all time is that a person can change his future by merely changing his attitude. We are all influenced by our respective environments. We all encounter difficulty and disappointments. Some are more severe than others. We may have had to endure intense physical or emotional pain or the loss of a loved one. When thinking about your personal traits, tragedies, and disappointments, remember that no matter how bad you think your experiences may be, many people face challenges and disappointments that are far worse than yours. Habitual bad attitudes are often the product of past experiences and events. Common causes include low self esteem, stress, fear, resentment, anger, and an inability to handle change. It takes work to examine the roots of a harmful attitude, but the rewards of ridding yourself of this emotional baggage can last a lifetime. Life is about choices. It is not what happens to you that matters. It's how you choose to respond and how you choose to think about it. You choose to allow it to affect you. These are the things that matter, and they are entirely within your control. Your attitude can become a habit. Do you think that what you want is possible? If so, it can become your reality. One of the best ways to move to a more positive and motivated frame of mind is to exercise. Exercise, 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 exercise. Oh, this gentleman in this photo, the silhouette, he is definitely exercised. Probably built entirely of muscle. Ha 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 ha. We are doing morsels of a thought, number 1667. I do morsels of a thought, hopefully of wisdom, that we may know what to do. And when we know what to do and we do it, we are committing acts of virtue. When we commit acts of virtue, we actually change the entire energy field, believe it or not. Believe it or not. Like, have you ever walked into a place and just got this horrible feeling? Well, that's a bad energy field. And have you ever walked into a place and felt like, ooh, this is a nice place? I mean, you really feel it in your body. That's an energy field, believe it or not. So the more we have virtue all around us, even if it's virtue toward ourselves, it is virtue. It is changing creating a positive energy field. And as you grow your energy, you there are unlimited amounts of energy in the world, in the universe. You can create energy. Energy can be created and destroyed like matter. Energy is a form of matter, believe it or not. Now, I will say that I I won't say. I will say. Okay, just stay. Dr. Yan Xing, who is a high-level Qigong master that is employed by the Chinese government, has done experiments with the National Institutes of Health in the past. And these experiments have proven that, well, go to show that energy can be treated as a form of matter and it can be emitted from a long distance. The farther away, the better, actually. So, like physics, the farther away you start, the faster it is when you get there. Engage it, that's F equals MA. Okay. Physics. F equals MA. That's all I know. That's all I remember of physics. Meanwhile, we are in millennial samurai, and all the samurai in the world ever always used physics to fight. You would think, you would think, you would think. I mean, maybe some of them flew, but we don't know that. We don't see it today, but we don't know that. Engage in for whatever if for whatever reason a positive attitude seems like a bridge too far, then you need to examine why that is. Carl Jung, Jung, Swiss psychiatrist and psychoanalyst, says depression is like a woman in black. If she turns up, don't shoo her away. Invite her in, offer her a seat, treat her like a guest, and listen to what she wants to say. Engage in self examination. Try to understand the root causes of your attitude, and then summon the courage and make the choice to move past them. Seek professional help if necessary. If you can't approach life with positivity, don't expect life to be positive. Life is what you make it. Begin by seeing and embracing all that is positive in yourself. You have greatness in you. Find it, embrace it, and allow it to flourish. Millennial samurai have a positive attitude. And I got a text message from a friend last night who was talking about a dispute that I was having. That person that I told you about the other day that I mentioned that was really not very positive toward me at all. Um, He said, how about trying to go toward a hypothesis of working together, collaboration? And I thought, that's a very good idea. If only they would do that. If only that person would do that. That would be good. I would do it. So I changed my attitude last night about that. And I think that it is possible. When I think it's possible, then it is possible. But prior to that, before I thought it was possible, I mean, I have in my lifetime, I have thought, okay, positive attitude. Oh, no, no. Oh, no, no. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, no. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. No. Well, think of the attitude. This is what George J. Chanos is talking about. If you think it is, then it can be. Just like that other one where um, if you think you can't, or if you can, you're right. Remember that one? Where is it? It was here somewhere. Barack Obama, the 44th president of the United States, said, empathy, empathy. Empathy is a quality of character that can change the world. That can change the world. If you empathize with me, if you're watching me, you are already empathizing with me. You're coming to me to give me a chance to give you some of what I'm feeling or thinking. And by that, that is a form of empathy. You are giving me empathy, and I very much appreciate it. And hello, John Clark, and hello, Colleen Dracos, and hello, Gina Putoff, and hello, Marty Blue, and hello, Liz Rose Cantata, and hello, Mandy Olekshi, and oh, yeah. Empathy. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the thoughts and feelings of another. It may be the most critical 21st century skill. I'm going to underline that part. Golly. It may be the most critical 21st century skill. Ay, ay, ay. Empathy. I gotta do this. I gotta empathize it. I gotta I gotta highlight empathy. Okay, now that part is highlighted now. Okay. Empathy build I don't know why I didn't before. I've seen it twice before. Empathy builds character and develops leadership skills. It promotes trust, creative thinking, contribution, and collaboration. It is essential to brainstorming and the design process. It is critical in negotiations and an essential part of raising capital. People won't collaborate or offer their ideas if they feel that their views will be ignored or ridiculed. Understanding the needs, wants, perspectives, and interests of the other side is essential to successful negotiations, and raising capital from investors begins with the understanding of their needs and objectives. As Oprah Winfrey, the American media owner, talk show host, actress, and producer, said, leadership is about empathy. Ooh. Empathy is an important part of the hiring process, both for employers and applicants. Employers need to understand what will motivate and strengthen an employee's contribution, collaboration, and commitment. And employees need to have a clear understanding of their employer's needs and objectives. Empathy is essential to sales, customer service, and teaching. Knowing what a potential customer wants and needs allows you to tailor your offering. Responding to your customers' needs and concerns builds trust, allowing you to retain your customers. Last night, I was watching an interview by what's that gentleman's name? The British man that is of African descent. Yeah, I can't remember his name. But Gavin Newsom is the governor of California, and Gavin Newsom said that there was a time when his family, he has a winery. He has four wineries, and at the time that he first ever found out how much his business meant to people, it was when at closing a guy comes in. His example is that a guy comes in and asks for a bottle of champagne. Can you wrap it? He wraps it and goes and he goes and he's in a hurry. He goes, comes back with a woman, and he says, this is my fiance. I just proposed to her over this champagne. And it was so good. I wanted to come back and tell you thank you. And the woman and the man basically gave Gavin Newsom his whole sense of meaning. He said that he cried after they left. Gavin Newsom cried after the customers left because they made him realize that his entire business was not just about the monetary transaction, but it was about human relationships and obviously about empathy. So, the relationship, says George J. Chanos, the relationship between a teacher and student also requires mutual understanding and shared goals. Teaching without empathy is like taking horses to water to care without caring if they drink. You know the saying, you can bring a horse to water, but you can't make him drink it, right? So if you bring the horse to water and they didn't drink it and they're still thirsty, then you know there's a reason they didn't drink the water. Maybe it was polluted and you can't tell, but they can tell, you know. Empathy. Empathy exists when a manager understands the struggles of his team, when a husband understands the stress his wife may be experiencing, when a parent remembers what it was like to be a teen, and when a child understands how much his parents care and why they think and feel the way they do. But we don't always have or show empathy. Sometimes we find it hard to understand another person's failings or weaknesses. Psychologists Daniel Goleman and Paul Ekman, A-E-K, Goleman, Goleman, and Paul Ekman, Ekman, break down the concept of empathy into the following three categories. Cognitive empathy is the ability to understand how a person feels and what they might be thinking. Cognitive empathy makes us better communicators because it helps us relay information in a way that best reaches the other person. Emotional empathy is the ability to share the feelings of another person. This type of empathy helps you build emotional connections with others. Compassionate empathy moves us to take action to help however we can. Maya Angelou, the American poet, said, I think we all have empathy. We may not have enough courage to display it. Empathy takes time and effort, and we don't always show empathy or our empathy is limited. We may find it hard to understand another person's feelings, or we may understand those feelings but don't share them, or we may understand and share their feelings but fail to take any action. We build cognitive empathy by paying attention, by understanding that we may not see the whole picture, by looking for subtle cues, and by learning more about those we interact with, which may help to create understanding. We develop emotional empathy by listening carefully, by resisting the urge to judge, and by trying to remember when we had similar feelings about something that happened in our lives. We engage in compassionate empathy by asking the other person what we can do to help. If they can't or won't tell you, think about what helped you when you felt a similar emotion. Don't minimize what someone else is feeling or suggest that you have a solution. Don't interrupt them. Don't interrupt them. Just offer to help and do what you can. Empathy allows us to add greater meaning and purpose to our lives. It allows us to build teams and engender trust, collaboration, and commitment. It allows us to solve problems and develop solutions. It allows us to lead. Millennial samurai have empathy for others. So here we are. We have read intuition, we have read empathy. And I really thought it was going to take far less time, but it took up all our time. So I will see you again later tomorrow. Okay? Old Kinderhook!